through the park area, searching that car where that tarp is as well, trying to figure out how this all happened. Now, we know one of those victims, a man in his late 20s, was found dead this morning in that vehicle. The second man, also in his 20s, was found a block or so away in the street. He was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately died there. But then police say they found a third victim at a completely different location just a few minutes from here. That victim had what police describe as trauma to his body. He was rushed to the hospital. He is alive this morning.
I want to welcome you to a very special version of Revisiting History's Crimes Across the Country. This one's slightly personal to me. I knew the individual. I spoke to him. He was human in my eyes. Somebody that couldn't commit the crimes that would unfold later. Now, when I look at this, and I look at Chaston Ferris, I don't want to look at him just as a suspect, but as a walking contradiction. On the surface to some, he was a man trying to reintegrate into life after serving time, but beneath that thin layer of normalcy lurked a hardened felon with a long and dangerous criminal resume. He had a criminal background, multiple violent offenses, armed robbery, a 5-year prison stint in New Mexico. He surrounded himself by fellow criminals and users, Monique, his girlfriend, Hutchinson, his robbery partner. His lifestyle was deeply embedded in the opioid world.
Ah, that's the good stuff.
Dealing M30 fentanyl pills, methamphetamine, and heroin. Now, when I knew him, he was very, very much into the spice world. This would affect a lot of individuals mentally. We know that spice across the country, across crimes across the country, has shown to be a repetitive thing. His firearm use, although prohibited from firing weapons, we know that Chasten routinely carried a pistol. And then his family perspective. Even his own mother stated, life was peaceful before Chasten came home. They say people can change, but for Chaston Ferris, change meant going from dangerous to deadly. The night, June 20th, the setup, the gunfire, the run. In the early morning hours of June 20th, 2019, a robbery turned deadly in the streets of Surprise, Arizona. Chasten and Joseph Hutchinson targeted Ricardo de la Isla, luring him under the guise of a drug deal.
Put the fucking drugs in the bag.
Ricardo's sentimental .38 revolver and Chasten's stolen .380 semi-automatic. Within mere minutes, Ricardo and Joseph were both dead. Chasten was wounded and on the run.
You ain't gonna rob no one at my place again!
You got the shit, homie? Where you at?
Tonight we are gonna rob that motherfucker. Get that candy.
Help! Help me! Somebody help!
Instead of calling for help, Fairris knocked on doors, lied about what happened, and avoided police, passing dozens of houses without dialing 911. If it was a robbery gone wrong, why didn't he call for help? Why lie? Why run? Plus, Chasten had burn marks on his arm from a muzzle of a firearm, which means the firearm had to have been fired within 6 inches, less than a foot probably. A forensic clock is ticking. From surveillance footage to 911 calls, the segment walks the audience minute by minute through the night's deadly turn. 3:05 a.m. Monique, Fairris, and Hutchinson leave the house. 3:32 a.m. All three men get into Ricardo's Nissan Altima. 3:36 a.m. Ricardo whispers a chilling last phone call. Something happened. 3:41 a.m. Fairris appeared at the neighbor's door, out of breath, arm wounded. 3:42 a.m. 911 calls start pouring in, gunshots and bodies in the street. 4:14 a.m. Ricardo pronounced dead in the vehicle. 4:44. Joseph pronounced dead at the hospital. From planned robbery to double homicide in just 9 minutes, the street turned into a crime scene. Here we dig into the gruesome forensic details that expose just how violent the incident became. Joseph Hutchinson had multiple gunshot wounds to the face, back, and arm. There was evidence of a close quarter struggle, but he was found in the road next to drug paraphernalia with teeth scattered around him. This indicates that he had made it out of the vehicle and tried to escape. Ricardo de la Isla found slumped in the driver's seat, revolver in hand, gunshot wound to the neck, back, hand. Following the gunshots, there were reports the vehicle was, quote, rolling down the street with the engine running. Chaston Ferris, shot in the forearm, point blank range. It's reported that he used a bandana as a makeshift tourniquet, which is one of the ways that he was first seen at the door of his neighbors. And last, he had a bullet hole in his shirt. The weapons recovered from the scene are as follows: Chasten's stolen .380 semi-auto, Ricardo's revolver, and casings and bullets throughout the car. DNA swabs, surveillance footage, Facebook messages confirmed drug deals and robbery plan. Drug paraphernalia, gloves to avoid fingerprints, multiple phones, and bloody napkins were all found at the scene. This wasn't just a drug deal gone bad. This was warfare in a compact car. The tragedy of this case isn't just in the bloodshed, it's in the predictability of it all. When I knew Chasten, his life was already heading toward destruction. Drugs, weapons, and a violent network formed the foundation of his world. His choice to arm himself and rob someone in the middle of the night cost 2 lives and nearly his own. He tried to run, he tried to lie, but the evidence buried him. He pled down to a second-degree murder charge and was sentenced to 19 years in prison. In the end, there were no winners, only bodies, broken families, and a felon finally cornered by his own choices. I want to thank you for watching Revisiting History. I want to thank you for supporting crimes across the county, despite the graphic and emotional and heart-racing details that we go through. I want to thank you for supporting us from the very beginning, from when we first started. And so.
Now, to be fair, whenever I was trying to figure out the analysis on this one, almost impossible. In the conflict point, there's some really funky stuff that's going on. There's a change of seats between De Isla and Hutchinson. There's some sort of weird conflict outside the car. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to disrespect someone. There's this weird, strange, almost time lapse in between how long it took for Chasten to move across areas. But however, if you know the streets, you can get across those areas very easy. They have causeways and all kinds of ways to get across a road, or maybe there's a hole in a wall that's like a brick wide and you can squeeze through it. But regardless, man, the amount of weird stuff I came across in this case, the police investigated it very strangely. The surprise police, man, I almost want to just like kind of release the report out there for everybody to read because of the fact that it's so weird. But I think when it comes down to at the end of this, whenever I'm actually done, there's only one person who I can ask that can tell me the truth now. And I think it's important that I talk to him. So, Chasten, if you're out there, bud, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing very good. And I want to reach out to you and hopefully we can set something up.